Hi.
Thank you for taking time to talk to us about your journey. You are the May sleeve or May behind the sleeve on our calendar for the NLO bariatric program,
Thank you.
North Valley Surgical Associates. So thank you so much. I wanted to start off by asking you, how long did you struggle with being overweight or struggling with that?
I started struggling with my weight in my 20s. So I'm 50 now. So about 30 years of yo-yo, up and down, up and down.
Okay, yeah. So
Yeah.
have you tried other diet programs as well? Or?
I've tried crazy things like hormone shots. I've tried like cabbage soup diet, as well as things like Weight Watchers things that helped for a little while, but my body finally said, I am not going to cooperate with your crazy antics.
Yeah.
I had exhausted all my other avenues. That's why I decided to have surgery.
When did you finally reach that point when you made the decision to use bariatric surgery as your tool, as your strategy for weight loss?
I had lost over 100 pounds 2 different times. One a very unhealthy, really bad way. So when I gained back about 150. So then I went with another program and lost 100 and had something traumatic in my life happen. So it came back on. And so when I got in a better place and decided I needed to start again, it wasn't working anymore. I was doing everything that I'd done before, but the weight was just not coming off. I decided at that time I needed to look at a permanent tool, something that really could give me the help that I really needed.
Yeah.
So.
And how did you find North Valley Surgical Associates?
I went to my doctor, my general practitioner, and was like, I don't know what to do. I need some help. And we had I made a special appointment. We had the discussion right then. She gave me the referral, and it was pretty exciting just to think that maybe there was help. There was some hope.
Yeah.
It was pretty exciting.
Were you nervous, like before coming to have the surgery? What were some of your concerns? Or?
Well, I had this preconceived idea in my head of how this surgery was and how it, so I was nervous until I came in for my consult and had a lot of my questions answered, and got an idea of what to expect and how it was going to go about happening. Then I just got excited because there was hope. There was hope. Yeah.
And how long has it been now since you've had your bariatric surgery?
22 months.
Okay.
It'll be 2 years in August.
Right. Could you tell right away what some of the benefits that you started to notice?
After surgery?
Yeah, after surgery.
Yeah.
Or when did you? Maybe you can say.
I just started feeling better in general. I stopped hurting. Because the weight was coming off. My joints were like, yay, I can move.
Yeah.
I remember being in Costco once picking up this 40-pound bag of dog food and kind of having to heft it into my cart and realizing I had been carrying like 3 or 4 of those around trying to move. It was hard enough just lifting it, but I was carrying that on my person.
Yeah.
So it's pretty amazing once it started coming off.
Sure.
Yeah.
What about emotionally or mentally? Did you notice any changes?
I did. I got more confident. I got some confidence, which was amazing. I remember it wasn't too long after surgery, and I was walking and I was thinking people were staring at me, and I'm like, what's going on? What's going on? And what I realized is I was finally looking up at the world. I had been walking with my head down for so many years.
Wow.
Nobody was staring. People have eye-to-eye contact when you're out in the real world, and who knew? I didn't know. So like my confidence level, I was ready to look at the world and feel okay with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a great observation.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
that's really good. Wow. Did you do any new activities?
I do crazy new activities. I'm in the gym an average of 5 times a week. But what I've started doing just in the last 6 months is hiking. And I'm doing these crazy, really hard hikes. Like I did a 13-mile hike. I did a 1,700 feet elevation gain in a mile and a half, which like I couldn't do that when I was skinny in my 20s. You know, my idea of going out in nature was going to the backyard pool. So I am out doing all kinds of things that make my body feel really good. I'm not huffing and puffing. People aren't having to wait for me. People are trying to catch up with me now. This is really good stuff.
Wow, that is fantastic.
Right.
What have been some of the struggles that you faced?
So post-op, I developed
After surgery.
right post-operative. I developed a drinking and drug problem. They spoke about that. They spoke about the chances of other addictions coming into play, and in my head, I thought that's not me. But I traded food and started drinking instead. So 13 months after my surgery, I realized I was in trouble and went into recovery. So in a couple weeks, I'll have 9 months clean and sober.
Congratulations.
Which is the best thing I could have done for myself. Best decision right along up there with the weight loss surgery. Two things. It's really important that we listen to the doctors. You know, what they talked about it a lot in the pre-op classes, and I didn't pay attention.
Yeah.
So
it reacts. Your body reacts to it pretty quick, doesn't it?
yes, yeah, and they said that would happen, but I'm one of those people that if you tell me don't do something or this will happen, I'm like, nah, not to me.
Yeah.
So I was one of the statistics, but
You know, that's a great point. If I can just ask a little bit more about that. I've heard this saying sometimes that there's no change that happens below the neck until you change what's above the neck.
it's true.
And so how was that for you?
It's true. Well, it's funny. My brain is my biggest bully. Like I'm my own worst critic, and the thoughts that go on in my head aren't the truth. Those thoughts they're not telling me the truth. And you know, I struggled with with all kinds of self-image things that I hear go along with people who have, you know, extreme weight issues. It took a while. Well, it's still taking time for my head to catch up with my body. You know, I
Reprogramming.
just completely reprogramming and realizing this really is my new normal.
Yeah. And just almost learning to love ourselves and having that worthiness.
Feeling worthy, exactly.
Yeah.
And right, being okay with all of me, you know. Yeah.
That's great, Andi. That's
Yeah.
great. What advice would you give new patients having just done the surgery?
Pay attention to the suggestions. Listen. You guys have all this, you know, background and knowledge and statistics and what works and what doesn't, you know. And I started doing a lot of homework, a lot of research myself. So pay attention to what you're learning. You know, there's reasons for the, hey, to watch this could happen, or, you know, there's some science behind it.
Sure.
It backs it up. So I pay attention to the suggestions.
What is one thing you know now, and maybe you just said it, what is one thing you know now that you wish you knew when you started your journey?
That is definitely something, right, that I just talked about. Also, that there's so much support everywhere if you look for it. Social media has been a really big support for me. Instagram, there's a huge weight loss surgery community for people who are just now speaking with a surgeon to find out if it's the right option, or people who are 15 years post-op and everything in between. So there's a lot of help and support in different social media areas, you know, Pinterest and the cookbooks and the emotional support, and you get a lot of cheerleading going on, you know, you're rooting for people and they're rooting for you, and I think that's important. I think it's important.
Yeah. You know, what I love about your story, and I love about you being able to come here and be transparent, is that you know there's other patients out there that struggle.
Yes.
And or who might come down that road later on, and your struggle with alcohol and drugs and that being an addiction. What advice would you give those folks if they found themselves there?
There's help. There's help. Just like we found we had to reach out for help with our weight, there's help. There's recovery in all aspects of our life that we can get. And now I'm able to put the recovery for drugs and alcohol is a recovery for life, basically. So my weight, everything, it all comes together. It's just kind of a life recovery of things that a lot of us, you know, I'm definitely not the only one. And it for a while I was just really ashamed and thinking this is only me, but it's not only me. Yeah. It's a real, trading addictions is real. Yeah. It's real. Right. So there's a lot of help. Yeah. Take advantage of all the help there is to be found.
Yeah. Andi, thank you so much for coming and sharing your journey with all of us in the group and those who've had made the decision to have bariatric surgery and those who are thinking about it. I think your story has a lot of value for everyone. So
thank you so much. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
All right, thank you.